are back in Pittsburgh. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom, the rest of our Fire on Ice crew. And this is the first ever postseason meeting between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Montreal Canadiens, even though they have been in the same Eastern Conference for 17 seasons now. So there's no history between the two clubs to draw upon. But the history that these two teams are thinking about is the fact that they both went out of the first round last year. Montreal in 5 games against New Jersey. Pittsburgh went out in 5 to Philadelphia. They have made coaching changes and style changes, and we'll see what the impact will be here as we start the 1998 playoffs for these two clubs. And right off the bat, we have a whistle, and the referee Rob Schick was shaken up on the play, and I think that's the reason the whistle blew as he went down and apparently was hit with an accidental high stick.
Yeah, we're only a couple of seconds into this game, and already the referee's been injured. Watch the right side of your screen. Referee Rob Schick will get clipped with a stick. Oh, right there. Yeah, one of the Pittsburgh players. I can't see the number on the jersey, but just an accidental crossing of paths. A high stick came up, and that's Rob Schick. It looks like he's got some blurred vision, obviously, too. So before either team can get any momentum going, Rob Schick takes one on the side of the cheek over the eye.
Well, a lot of people feel that Tom Barrasso's numbers are what they are because of the system that Kevin Constantine has put in. But Kevin Constantine, as you see his career record in the playoffs, has been very quick to praise Tom Barrasso. Say, yes, the defensive system has worked. The guys have bought into it. But he said, I give full credit to Tom Barrasso for what he has accomplished individually.
Absolutely. And on the road, it's the first person he pointed to was Tom Barrasso. The keys for the Penguins tonight: patience on the forecheck. They're playing against a Montreal team that's very fast. They're going to have to clog up the neutral zone and get a feel for how they're going to check them. Penalty killing. Montreal really thrives on their on their power play rather, and they have a very good one. So Pittsburgh has to be really careful and do a good job on their penalty killing. Alain Vigneault, rookie coach behind the bench for the Montreal Canadiens. First career playoff game as a head coach, and the keys for him: control Jaromir Jagr. Every team has to do that. If he sets the tempo and controls the game, you're in for a long night and you're probably going to lose. Establish some speed and flow. Again, Montreal, that's what they're all about. They like to have speed going through the neutral zone, and the flow means from one shift to the next. They got to get it going.
Alain Vigneault has made an adjustment already as Patrick Poulin is scratched from the lineup tonight. So essentially 8 defensemen are dressed for Montreal, although Craig Rivet is a defenseman that has played quite a bit at forward. And right now we see Zarli Zalapski playing as a left winger as Ulanov and Manson are the defense pair for the Canadiens against this top line of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here is Yuri Slager. Pass up the middle now for Jagr. He'll gain the zone. He is immediately double-teamed. Ulanov slaps it off the board. Jagr gets a stick on it. Backhands it to the corner. Centering pass for Barnes. He didn't get much wood on it. Cleared to the line. Held in by Slager. His shot was deflected wide by Zalapski. Jagr just fanned as he tried to go high on the short side. Very quickly against Andy Moog. And the Canadiens able to clear. Mark Bureau will not get to that puck as he's going for a change.
Yeah, talk about a defensive posture for Montreal. 8 defensemen, as you said, in the lineup. 2 of them at least will be playing forward. We saw Zalapski that last shift. Craig Rivet will be playing forward probably almost exclusively. We'll see how that develops, but that's what we expect to see. And of course, we're going to have Ulanov out there as often as possible, I'm sure, against Jagr.
We should point out, too, that Saku Koivu is not in the lineup here for Game 1 for the Montreal Canadiens, and he is very much day-to-day. As far as whether he'll be ready for Game 2 of this series, even on Saturday night. Here is Robert Lang now, number 20. Lang in the corner is taking off the puck. That gets a reaction from the crowd. And we have a stop of the action. Let's go back to our studios and Bill Pito. Bill? Get to it, but a giveaway. Martin Straka with a steal. Oh, the puck hit the back of the net as he tried to drag it to the front. He would have had a great scoring chance in front of Andy Moog. Comes to Bernay now, and Bernay just backhands it to the Penguins line so the Canadiens can make a change. Here is Kasparaitis, plays it ahead. It is touched by Moog, so no icing as Quintal, also off the injured list, plays it around for the Canadiens. And with some speed into the zone, here comes Montreal. It is broken up, picked up, quick shot here, fired over the head of Barrasso as it was Craig Rivet trailing the play that had that opportunity. Hoagland and let Bordelot could not control the puck, and the Penguins take over as Ed Olczyk couldn't collect the pass.
Not everybody is in the game yet. Some pretty tight players out there, especially for Pittsburgh. Strzok had a scoring chance, and he missed Wawrinka with a big giveaway.
Tyler Wright doing a good job to fight off a check to keep the play alive. He plays it around the boards of the Montreal zone. Olsson moving in for the point. Bouncing puck along the boards in the Montreal zone. Canadiens able to chop it out of there. And Wright comes over center ice to gain control. Drives it in from outside the blue line. Just off the bench, here is Rob Brown. Puts on the brakes, but it's slapped away. And cleared ahead now. Here come the Canadiens on the move. Late man coming is down. Booth snaps the shot. Blocked by Kasparaitis. Booth's got a stick on it. Here's Ruzhinski with a chance. That one off a leg. Comes to Brisebois. Sends it to the side of the net. Barrasso is down. Puck is loose, but Brisebois, Savage rather, couldn't get to it. And it's back the other way now for the Penguins as the crowd roars their approval of the physical play in the zone. And a penalty coming against the Canadiens. And look out as the Penguins dumped it back into their own zone. Barrasso was heading to the bench. And on the touch-up now by Damphus, almost shades of what happened to Sandis Ozolic to the Colorado Avalanche late in the regular season, putting it into their own net.
Well, Vinny Damphus, I believe, is the player going to go to the penalty box for the Montreal Canadiens. Looked like a trip, perhaps, on Kasparaitis. So the Pittsburgh Penguins will be the first team to go on the power play, and power plays are always interesting.
So the Pittsburgh Penguins go on the power play. Their power play during the regular season clicked at 16.5%. That was 11th overall in the National Hockey League. And you see the penalty killing numbers of the Montreal Canadiens, 16th in the league. But again, those numbers and those rankings can change so quickly with one team getting on a hot streak. And the Penguins with the first power play opportunity of this series as Olsson slides it ahead. Stu Barnes, lead pass for Francis, who was standing at the Montreal blue line. Francis had it slapped away momentarily by Malakoff. Olsson right point, unable to hold it in. Good diving hustle play there made by Bureau. Now Hatcher gains the zone. Kevin Hatcher sends it to Olsson. Off the board now for Jágr. Cross ice, and Hatcher will pick it up there. Kevin Hatcher led all NHL defensemen in power play goals. Dangerous on the point, but this time it's the Canadiens taking over, and Brunet will kill some time, but then he lost control of the puck. Now it is slapped back into the Penguin zone.
Pittsburgh on the power play will do whatever they're given, whatever room they're given. Down low, they can move it. They have great talent down low. And back at the point, they love to get it back there to Hatcher and Olsson for the big shots as well. So if they can get in and get sustained attack, we'll see which one they choose first. I think they would like to get it back to the point and get some good shots, get some momentum going early.
Good hustle by Slager to hold that puck in on the clear around attempt by Manson. Here's Jágr out of the corner, knocked away by Brisebois. Slager holds it in, bounces it wide of Andy Moog. 40 seconds remaining in the Montreal penalty. Francis to the corner for Barnes. Back to Francis. Straight away, Wawrinka goes back to Francis, top of the circle, sneaking in the backside with Slager. They couldn't get it to him. Here is Jágr. He'll try a goal-bound pass that's knocked away. Comes to Jágr quickly to the net. Moog to stop there. Canadian gain control. Manson played it to the corner. Stu Barnes battling there against Shane Corson. Now Manson plays it along. Recchi is there, and he chops it off of Hatcher and out to center ice. That was Slager, rather, as Jágr now has to wait. Stu Barnes went into the Montreal zone ahead of the puck. Just a couple of seconds left in the Pittsburgh power play that is now 0 for 1 in the series. Manson long, clear to Savage, now for Damphus. Damphus with Ruzhinski going for the net. Quick shot there, the save by Barrasso. And he puts the big glove on it. 12:09 remaining in the first. The Penguins have had a power play, but it remains scoreless in Game 1. Imagine there's been a little good-natured ribbing among those line mates since
I'll bet.
Nagano. Face off to the right of Barrasso. Stu Barnes takes it out of there. Here Slager gets control, sends it ahead now for Barnes. We're in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom here as Fire on Ice continues our NHL coverage into the Stanley Cup playoffs. One-timer by Barnes was fired wide as Moog appeared to be a little bit off balance as he moved from left to right. Fredrik Olsson, steady veteran defenseman. Now a lead pass for Jágr, and just offside on the play. Jaromir Jágr, who has scored a point a game in the playoffs over his career.
Another great season for Jaromir Jágr. Arguably the best talent in the National Hockey League. You see the numbers with and without Mario Lemieux, who of course is retired now.
Right in our ESPN family, National Hockey Night, Fire on Ice, bringing you all the action right through to the finals.
Pittsburgh penalty, number 29, Tyler Wright, 2 minutes for boarding. Time of the penalty, 10:32. Wright 2 for boarding at 10:32.
Tyler Wright has picked up a penalty for boarding. A pretty good pop. Yeah, and whenever a player's head goes into the boards, more than not, you're going to see a penalty called. So Montreal Canadiens with their first power play of this series.
Well, the Canadiens, as you see, ranked 3rd in the National Hockey League, just over 18%. The Penguins in the top 10 in terms of penalty killing. Well, the Canadiens, their first power play of this series. Penguins already 0 for 1. We passed the halfway mark of the first period. A steal here by the Penguins. Ian Moran sends it all the way back into the Montreal zone.
The key for Montreal in this power play is going to be Malakoff, the guy with the big one-timer. He's got a huge shot, and they love to set him up for it. But I think Pittsburgh is going to be looking for him, and I think they'll give Montreal more room down low to move and try to take that shot away from Malakoff.
Malakoff snapped one in, but not the big booming shot that he likes to deliver. Malakoff holding it in. Here is Recchi along the end boards. Recchi sends it out to the line. Brisebois, right-hand shot, playing the left point. Here is Recchi with it now. Gets it back to Brisebois. Here's the one-timer from Malakoff. Well-timed, the block there by Ian Moran. Brisebois with a one-timer. That sailed up over top of the net. Deflection in front. Barrasso the save. Malakoff has it again. Malakoff surveys the situation, plays it off the boards for Recchi. Recchi moves it to the corner. Goal-mouth pass, and here's a chance by Brisebois that was knocked down by Brad Wawrinka. And Wawrinka is going to sit right down on top of the puck to get the whistle.
Mr. All versatility for the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. Ian Moran. He hurt himself early in the year, had a bad leg, and missed an awful lot of time. But since he's come back, he's done really a strong job for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You saw him block that shot by Malakoff. He was ready for it, looking for the shot. He was down early, not going to let that puck get to the net. He has played virtually every position again except goaltender this year. His numbers are not going to be huge, but one of those quality guys, and especially in a playoff game, is going to be a big part of their story.
Missed 43 games because of injury and 34 because of the leg injury. He had a bruised kneecap, and well, it takes a lot of guts in any circumstance to go down and block a shot, as you know, Brian. And of course, he's out there very close to Malakoff, who's got that big shot. And with that history of the bruised kneecap, still went down and made the play.
Yeah, and that injury, he thought he was only going to be out for 2 weeks when it first happened, and it just dragged on and on and on and wouldn't heal.
Damphousse plays it along the boards for the Canadiens, working with a man advantage, but the puck is cleared by Olchuk, who looks down toward his skates as he lost his balance. Canadiens right back on the attack. Here is Damphousse setting it up for Montreal. Back to the line. Manson snaps it to the net. Barrasso sliding across, made the save. Damphousse jumps on the loose puck. Brzezinski back to the line. They quickly move it to Ulanov. Ulanov, good pass here. A chance. Barrasso, great save. Rebound, score! Brzezinski on the rebound on the power play after the great initial stop by Barrasso, and it's a 1-0 Montreal lead.
Well, Pittsburgh got running around a little bit here, and that was the story, but the cross-ice pass by Ulanov is the one that really got them scrambling to recover, and they just never did. Even Tommy Barrasso, who was out on the challenge, ended up moving from one right to his left. It'll go to the point, to the far side to Ulanov. Now watch the diagonal pass, and watch Tom Barrasso. Look how far out he is in his net. Look at him scramble across. That's a lot of room to cover. The rebound comes out, an empty netter for Rucinski. So Pittsburgh not real sharp in helping out Tom Barrasso. If he's going to come out that far to challenge, then he's going to need some really good protection down low, and he didn't get it there. He made the initial save. Those rebounds have to be cleared.
Damphousse and Manson getting the assist on the goal by Rucinski. His first of these plays, a giveaway by Barrasso. The Penguins trying to help out in front of their goaltender. Barrasso with a pretty good slash. And Turner Stevenson, here's Malakoff with a shot that doesn't get through, and it's cleared to Stu Meyer. Back the other way. Flipped in front of Moe. Francis got a stick on it. Now it's knocked away. Now a long cross-ice pass now for Ulanov. He'll carry into the Pittsburgh zone. Snaps it across the Penguin zone to the corner. Zalapsky moved in, held it in. Mark Bureau. Olsen steps into him. Stu Barnes trying to get control. Here is Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher into the zone with Yager, but the Canadiens were back. And Zalapsky now plays it into the Pittsburgh zone. So settles it down.
Boy, I'll say they were back. They had 4 guys. It looked like a police lineup along the blue line.
Here is Recchi being watched by Kevin Hatcher. Kasparaitis knocks it away. It comes down to Morozov. Robert Lang joining the rush as well. Canadiens getting back quickly. Morozov a quick snapshot over the glove of Moog. Now Straka could not get it by Quintal in the corner. Now Robert Lang takes it away for the Penguins. Lang, his shot was deflected in front of Moog. Over on the left wing side is Shane Corson. He sends it across in front of the Penguins bench. Martin Straka has it there. And the Penguins play it out to center ice. Lang tried to play it ahead for Straka. Taken away by Recchi, and the Canadiens regain control. The pass behind the defense. Benoit Bernay is in alone, and Barrasso knocked it away. And then covers the rebound. Well, Barrasso coming up huge with just under 6 minutes left here in the first period to keep it at 1-0. The Montreal Canadiens have the lead on a Brzezinski goal, and it stays 1-0 because of this work by Barrasso. Brzezinski to Damphus. Damphus protecting the puck, hands it off. Brzezinski is taken to the boards by Slager, but bounces off of that check. Now it comes back behind the Pittsburgh net. Damphus looking out in front. Damphus still waiting. Now backhands it, a chance on the short side for Brzezinski. Hit the side of the net. Brzezinski again kicks it to his stick. Now rolls it to Damphus. Centering pass, a chance for Savage, and a save made by Barrasso. And it's cleared by Rob Brown back out to center ice.
Montreal has been much better at getting sustained attacks in the Pittsburgh end than Pittsburgh has been able to in the Montreal zone. A little bit surprising to me.
Olsen hammers it down the ice. He figures he's seen enough of this. And on the touch-up, it'll be an icing call.
Ronnie Francis had a good scoring chance his last shift out. We've seen a couple of miscues in this game already. Most of them actually been by Pittsburgh players. But on Ronnie Francis's last shift, there was a miscue by a couple of Montreal Canadiens who banged into each other, and Francis will get a good chance. There's a collision. And look at Barnes scoot by. 3 Montreal Canadiens are caught. Ronnie Francis will go in and ended up getting a shot on net, which Andy Moog saved, so it's still a 1-0 game in favor of the Montreal Canadiens, but not a lot of flow so far in this game, really, by either team.
Francis has had a couple of problems breaking a stick and fanning on it. 37 career regular season goals against Montreal, second most among active players. Dave Andrechuk with 40 has had the most success. Just over a minute left here in the first period. Marenka now center ice, flips it wide of Moog, who takes a look, decides to come out and work it along the boards. Recchi is there and sweeps it to center ice. Canadiens come up with it again. Quintal rolls it in front of Barrasso. Marenka clears it the other way. Here comes Rob Brown, hustling over as Popovich to use that long reach, and Brown could not keep it. In the Montreal zone now, Hatcher puts it in wide of Andy Moog. Quintal hit hard there by Hicks, who came in aggressively on the forecheck. Now Hatcher right point, tees it up, drives it in toward Moog, who had to make a stop there. Now Yager is checked on the play. And it's cleared by Corson down the ice. Hatcher being pursued by Benoit Brunet. Hatcher just able to recover in time to play it the other way. Robert Lang picks it up off the skate of Yager, drops it off. It comes back to Yager just inside the Canadian zone. Immediately he's double teamed and the puck is cleared by Brunet. And hustling down is Tamer. He'll get to it with just.
So far, Jaromir has not had much room out there. He was double and triple teamed on that last shift. we haven't seen the good transition game that Pittsburgh is capable when they're playing their game very well. Hasn't worked so far in this first period. The last shift, when Brown got free on the far side, he had some bad luck where he couldn't control a pass off the glass, rather. But for Jaromir, not a lot of room so far.
1.9 seconds. The net is empty down to our left, so the Penguins have 6 skaters out there. There you see the empty net as Montreal does not have time to win a faceoff and shoot it all the way down, but the Penguins do have time to win a faceoff and do some damage here. So the linesman Wayne Bonney making sure that Stu Byers of the Penguins and Mark Bureau of the Canadiens square off barely. It's toward the net, and now it's covered up by Bureau, and that'll do it for the first 20 minutes of Game 1 of this Eastern Conference quarterfinals. And Martin Ruzhinsky has the only goal of the first period. And the Canadiens with a huge shot advantage lead it 1-0. Stay with us. ESPN News is next. Of course, with Koivu out of there, you know, perhaps what happens here is Kevin Constantine looks at Ruzhinsky, Damphus, and Savage and figures, you know, maybe those are the 3 guys that are more dangerous as a unit than Recchi Corson and Hoagland or whoever else Alain Vigneault may have to put in there.
That's true, and Robert Long has done a real good job defensively this year. He's really trusted. Maybe he's thinking turnovers will help and then get some scoring chances to get that line.
Ulanov took a hit that time from Jagr, but still made the play along the boards, and the Canadiens were able to clear. Olsen now to Stu Byers. Taken away by Stevenson, carries across the Penguins line. Now Stevenson behind the net, tries to hammer it out in front. It's Slager that blocks it for the Penguins. Sends it ahead now for Francis. He'll drop it off. Olsen puts it in deep behind Andy Moog. 124th Stanley Cup playoff game for the veteran Andy Moog. And back the other way, the Canadiens now. Stevenson from center ice. Barrasso blocks it to the corner. Stevenson follows up with Kasparaitis in a collision there. And the puck is cleared by Hatcher all the way down the ice. This will be an icing call.
Stevens and Bureau are getting out there against the top line of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Montreal would like to do that whenever possible, and when not possible, they'll try and get Damphus' line out there against Barnes, Jagr, and Francis.
Well, our Sports Zone poll that you can participate in, hop on the NHL page at ESPN.com. Who should Montreal use as their #1 goaltender for the playoffs? The decision, certainly by Alain Vigneault for Game 1, was made with the veteran Andy Moog, but Jocelyn Thibault, you see there, certainly the future of the Canadiens. And if you had had the choice as the coach of the Canadiens, who would you have selected? So jump on the internet and let us know what you think.
They had a little informal survey in Montreal at the end of the season, and most of the people let you in on it. Folks voted for Thibault, although it was only by a pretty small margin. I think it was 54% or something, Dave, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a close vote, but of course a lot of conversation there that they were playing up the French-English thing with Jocelyn Thibault, of course, a French-Canadian, and the vote taking place in Montreal.
Yeah, I think that's actually where it started.
Yeah.
The whole thing about the goaltending controversy, if you want to call it that, for Montreal, started, it seems, in the French paper. Who were they going to use? I mean, everybody knew that Montreal brought in Andy Moog for specifically the playoffs, and of course to work with Jocelyn Thibault to be a mentor. And Andy Moog is great at that. So cool, calm, collected. Jocelyn Thibault played last year in the playoffs, and things didn't go well for him. Just so much pressure there, having to replace Patrick Roy, and just playing in the Montreal environment as it is. He's a heck of a goaltender and a great young talent, and Andy Moog has done great things for him this year.
Tyler Wright with a big hit on Rebay, gets a reaction from the Civic Arena crowd.
Oh, that was a big hit. Tyler Wright got a big piece of Rebay.
Ortolo drives the shot. Barrasso well out to cut off the angle, makes the save.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of defensive posturing, especially with a 1-goal lead here by the Montreal Canadiens. There's the list of all 8 guys who are in the lineup. Those are all defensemen for Montreal. Now, Zalapsky has already played a lot of forward, at least lined up there. Craig Rivet at the bottom of the screen, second from the bottom, is the other guy who will probably mostly line up, at least at forward. But as we saw in that last shift, a lot of times they're all 3 of them lined up along their own blue line. And there's the last hit. Whoa, Tyler Wright with a big pop on Rivet.
Penguins control. Here's Marenko with it. He'll bang it off the board down to center ice. Brisebois for the Canadiens takes over. Now Savage rolls it all the way back. pass intended for Ruzhinski did not connect. Martin Ruzhinski has the only goal so far here. 1-0 lead for the Canadiens. Manson up the left side. Ruzhinski hands it off now for Damphousse. Got Brisebois coming late. Damphousse pulls up top of the circle. He looks, tried to dump it in front. It was blocked. Savage recovers, moves it across. Manson with a big shot. The save. Rebound was there between the circles, and the Canadiens couldn't get to it as Barrasso had made the initial save again, and Savage just missed that bouncing puck. Here is Damphousse, tries to center. Kasparaitis took his man. Savage, though, gets to the puck. Penalty coming against the Penguins. Great pressure here by the Canadiens as the puck rolls free. Damphousse gets to it, rolls it to the corner, and on the touch-up by Warenka, we're going to get a call here as Kasparaitis tries to draw some kind of retaliation from the Montreal Canadiens.
There are a couple of possibilities down low there, I think, as far as penalties go. It looks like it's going to be an interference call against Pittsburgh. There are a couple of slashes and some other hacking and whacking going on, too. That's about the best example you could ever use, too.
Back to the line, Brisebois. Hands it off. Canadiens, as you saw, 1-for-1 on the power play. A steal here by Slager, and he lobs it back into the Montreal zone. Malakoff back for the Canadiens. Hands it off to Brisebois. Brisebois, Malakoff on the points. Corson, Hoagland, and Recchi up front for the Canadiens. Big hip check there by Kasparaitis on Shane Corson. Hoagland, though, in the corner now for Recchi. Mark Recchi sends it back to the line. Malakoff sends it back in deep. Corson played hard there by Hatcher. And Kasparaitis is going to draw another penalty. Canadiens ought to just give him the puck right now. It comes down to Brisebois, shot and a save by Barrasso. And Kasparaitis again goes at Corson. And Shane Corson, great discipline and self-control, skates away.
Kasparaitis knew he already had a penalty. I don't know what the call is going to be. It could be boarding, might be charging. But he took a run at Jonas Hoagland. Hoagland never had the puck. He got a great hit on him. Kasparaitis is pretending, I think, that he doesn't have one. He's gotten over to his own player's box, but in my mind, it has to be Kasparaitis who's been nailed on this call. No one has gone to the Pittsburgh box yet. He's trying to fake it. Now he knows it's him. Then he tried to draw Shane Corson into it. Here's his last shift. He gets a real good shot at Corson here. This is a good legal low hip check. That's outstanding. But later on in the shift is where he will nail Hoagland. He'll go back down to the bottom here. Watch him nail 44. There's 44. He never touched the puck. That's what the penalty was. And then after the play finished, he got a little high stick up on Shane Corson too. But Corson, as you said, Dave, was smart, never retaliated. So a 5-on-3 for Montreal for 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Montreal Canadiens scored 7 5-on-3 goals, and there was Corson again, and he skates right away. Kasparaitis was trying to get another Montreal player off the ice. Well, we saw it last night. Detroit didn't take much time in their 5-on-3 against Phoenix in the first period. And let's see what the Canadiens do here. On the road with a 1-0 lead. Malakoff straight away. Sends it to the face-off circle. Back to Malakoff. The one-timer save Barrasso. Boy, they are trying to set up Malakoff.
Ronnie Francis is really cheating to Malakoff. They don't want that big cannon coming from number 38 at the point. They'll give him something down low.
Comes to Recchi, cross ice, Brisebois, back to Malakoff. The one-timer missed the net. Recchi couldn't get to it before it was knocked away by Tamer. And Francis diving, able to clear.
Oh, those second efforts like Ronnie Francis showed right there. Those are the key plays when you're down 2 men.
Brisebois sends it ahead. Corson wraps it around the boards. Barrasso tried to get to it. Now Damphousse to Recchi. Great hustle there. Again, it's Francis.
And Ronnie Francis has had terrific position on Malakoff. Malakoff missed the net a couple of times, but Dave, from here it looks like, why is he missing the net? It's because Francis is directly in line. He's shooting around those legs first, and it ends up missing the net, hitting the end boards.
10 seconds left to the 5-on-3. Malakoff moves it out of Brisebois. Now it comes to Malakoff to the corner. Recchi, goal mouth pass. Nobody but the Canadiens could get a stick on it. Here's Brisebois again, top of the circle, closing in. Warenka out of the box and a steal. Back the other way. Warenka trying to get himself turned around. He is in on a breakaway. On ball, shoots and scores! What a turn of events!
shorthanded goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brad Wawrinka, as he comes out of the penalty box, they were down 2 men. Wawrinka will come out and make it only down 1 man. This is just not heads-up play by Montreal. A low percentage pass. Nobody yelling from the bench, or at least the Montreal defense not paying attention. No excuse not to know when that guy is coming out of the penalty box. Wawrinka should never get a free breakaway, especially when Montreal had a 2-man advantage. Not a heads-up play at all. Great move by Brad Wawrinka, who scored 20 goals last year in the IHL. He knows what to do with the puck.
Played his collegiate hockey in Northern Michigan, his first career playoff game and his first career playoff goal, and it's shorthanded at 7:21. And it was Yuri Slager that made the heads-up pass. And give Wawrinka credit too, because he was hustling back to get into a defensive mode and had to turn himself around to accept the pass and have some speed to have the offensive opportunity.
And you know, they had so much time to work with it. Yuri Slager made a great pass, but Wawrinka came flying out of the box and actually attacked from the opposite side of the ice of the penalty box. So that shows you how slow to react the Montreal Canadiens were. Slager was sure not to make it a 2-line pass. And watch Wawrinka work here. That's quick hands. In slow motion, you can't appreciate it as well, but it shows you the deft skill, the eye-hand coordination of Brad Wawrinka. That little fake was to get Moog to freeze, open up the 5-hole, and he jammed it in.
This is something we got to mark down, because we're going to be covering this series Saturday night here, Monday night in Montreal. Perhaps the first turning point of the series, a 5-on-3 for Montreal with a chance to take a 2-0 lead. Not only do they not do that, but Wawrinka scores shorthanded to tie it at 1. There's still 22 seconds left in the Kasparaitis penalty. So let's see if Montreal can regroup and settle down.
Oh yeah, this is a huge turnaround. I said it was a great opportunity for Montreal, and look what happens. Turns out to be a terrific opportunity that Pittsburgh Penguins took advantage of.
And the shots are 21-9 favoring the Canadiens. With a huge goal by Wawrinka. Here's Roginski. Hoagland, his shot deflected by Olesen. Now Jágr has the loose puck. 1-on-1 against Manson. Kasparaitis is out of the box. Jágr realizes it, tries to send it in front, and just missed on the timing, as Jágr indicating that he's going to the bench on Latane Roginski. Looking to go wide on Olesen. Pulls up now and dumps it back behind the Pittsburgh goal. Morozov going wide on Salavsky, who knocks it away. And we've got a penalty coming, and it looks like it's going to be against the Montreal Canadiens. Ron Francis, great hustle early in the penalty killing. Kept it at 1-0 until Wawrinka could tie it up. Joe Quenneville has done a tremendous job there with St. Louis. Right here, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have a shorthanded goal to tie this game at 1, now have the power play, but a steal here by Brunet. Brunet, between the circles, gets the shot away, but it was deflected wide. A penalty coming against the Penguins. And I believe it's going to be a hooking call. Obstruction hooking is the call, and it was not against the puck carrier, Brunet, I don't believe. I believe it was trailing the play. There's Brunet. Yeah, it could have been Slager.
Slager gets the stick up there on Bureau. Bureau was a late man coming in for Montreal. But Benoit Brunet with another good scoring chance. He, of course, had the breakaway, clear-cut one from the blue line in the first period. He was stymied by Tom Barrasso. Brunet with the best scoring chances, except for the one goal that was scored by Rushinsky in a wide-open net on the power play. Montreal not getting as many scoring chances in the second, as Kevin Constantine's group has handled the puck more and gone to the Montreal net much better in the second period than they did in the first.
Well, Alain Vigneault took his Montreal team right after the last regular season game up to an area in the hills outside of Montreal and actually closed the practice to the media, portions of the practice. Got permission apparently from the National Hockey League, saying, look, I just want 30 or 40 minutes without anybody else in there. Then we'll open it up. The media not very happy about that up there. 4 skaters aside, as 21 seconds had gone off the Zalapsky penalty when Pittsburgh took their minor. Olesen hands it off now And it's Jagr with it. Jagr trying to break free from Ruzhinski. Jagr, boy, he was ready for Ulanov there. Jagr with it, wraps it around. Francis couldn't get a stick on it. It's picked up now by Olesen. Winds up at the faceoff dot. Drives the shot on the save by Moog. Penalty coming. And Jagr is down. Penalty coming against Montreal. Ulanov is looking at Rob Schick and pleading his case.
Yeah, Ulanov's gone. He really finished the check long after Jaromir Jagr had finished with the puck. Jagr dished it off. He had taken the initial hit by Ulanov. Ulanov saw another chance to get a shot in at him. He took it, but he's going to sit out the next 2 minutes because of it. Here's Jagr along the wall. 55 red will come in. He misses him. That's the quickness of Jagr. Now watch the play continue. Here comes Ulanov. That's the penalty right there. He gets the elbows up. Jagr, I don't think, got hurt on the play, but he definitely got referee Rob Schick's attention. It was a smart play. He knew Ulanov was coming in a little bit too late. Ulanov still arguing with Rob.
Four skaters for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 3 for the Canadiens as we approach the halfway mark of the second period, Game 1. Eastern Conference quarterfinal. Face-off controlled by Francis. It comes back to Hatcher. Francis, top of the circle, sends it deep for Jagr. Back to Francis. Doesn't shoot. Jagr, goal mouth pass knocked away by Moog. He was waiting for that, anticipating, and the Canadiens clear.
Patrice Brisebois did a great job in the crease area there too. Pittsburgh Penguins will use the crease area on the power play more than anybody else in the National Hockey League. They tried to do it there, but it was sniffed out by Brisebois.
Hatcher gained the zone, but Jagr could not hold it in. Now here's Francis with it. Tried to hit Jagr with speed, and Jagr took an inadvertent stick from Shane Corson. He did everything to make sure that Rob Schick knew it. No call coming. Stu Barnes fell down, and Popovich gets over there and clears it all the way down the ice for the Canadiens.
Pittsburgh a little ragged in the neutral zone. They're really missing a good chance to get some extended time on a 4-on-3. Just don't get these chances very often, and they've got the talent to do something about it.
Here is Francis now. First penalty that will end will be Zalapski's in 10 seconds. Winding up, making the shot. Now sliding it toward the net. Warenka tipped by Brown just wide. Francis with it. Sets it up for Warenka. In deep looking for Barnes. Zalapski comes out of the box. 4 skaters aside. And Zalapski and Brunet now with 2 Pittsburgh players back. And Brunet never brought it into the zone.
Well, in our ESPN2 pre-play, we're going to show you what the Pittsburgh power play likes to do down low. You can see 68 and Francis 10 down low. They'll end up with the puck, and what they like to do is move it from the boards. Barnes has it to Francis, then he'll go right through the top of the crease area to Jagr for the slam dunk. Now, the numbers can change, but the idea stays the same. The goaltender, Andy Moog, is going to have to be active with the stick. On this last play, here's what happened. Oh, there's an example of how they could score on it. Here's the last play. Brisebois, I think, is the man who will actually sniff it out. 43 red. I think you can see his stick go in there right away. Okay. That was a sheer goal. That was a perfect example of it. Barnes would have had a slam dunk, but Brisebois sniffed it out.
I thought initially it was Andy Moog, but you're right. 38 power play points to lead the National Hockey League. Jaromir Jagr.
And most of them assists because the focus is on him. I mean, Mario Lemieux is not around anymore. The focus was always on him. Now it's Jagr. He knows it. He takes the shots when he gets them, but he's certainly very capable and not afraid to set the play up.
Yeah, you're right. 31 of the 38 power play points were assists as Recchi came in looking to put on a hit. 4 skaters aside. Now Slager comes out and Pittsburgh goes back on the power play now on a 5-on-4. Here is Robert Lang, and the puck rolls away from him. Deflects out to center ice. Recchi jumps on the loose puck. One-on-one against Warenka, who got the good shot block, and Rob Brown circling back. And the Penguins on the attack. Rob Brown looking to go wide on Manson. Brown hit the side of the net. Now Straka to Lang. He plays it off the boards. Brown back to the line. Here's Slager with a wrist shot that was deflected to the boards. Puck in the Montreal end, and the Canadiens get there to clear it as Kasparaitis will hustle back.
Well, in that 4-on-3 situation, that's exciting stuff, and with the great talent you can put on both teams on the ice, we saw some good chances early on by Pittsburgh, but then really it turned into just a lot of good close checking.
John Foose bites off a slash, gets another Pittsburgh defender down, but then Barrasso stopped him, centering pass taken away. And it's cleared off the glass and by the outstretched glove of Popovich. But he may have touched it because the icing was waved off quickly. Hogue lays it off the glass. Pronger came in. Nearly got control of the puck. Now down Foose took a hit there from Hicks.
Keep it low, keep it low. Clean it up, boys.
Chick telling him to keep it moving.
Here we go.
And Savage has it now. Hands it off for Popovich and the Canadiens back into the Pittsburgh zone. And that play offside. 7:40 remaining in the second period. We've already had our first turning point. Montreal had a chance to go up 2-0, but it was Pittsburgh shorthanded that has tied the game.
Vinny Foose got a nice play in, and coming in off the wing around Olofsson will go down, tucks it in, pulls it. Look at that poke check there by Tommy, diffusing the play before it gets any more dangerous. And for Montreal Canadiens, that's a key guy. Vinny Foose has to have a good series. 4 goals in his last 29 games. It has not been a strong year for Vinny Foose. He's got to play better in this series.
Barnes hands it off now. Olofsson tees it up, drives the shot. Bones to save. Big rebound right back to Olofsson. Wanted to one-time it across, but fanned on it. A big line out there for the Penguins. Barnes, Jagr, and Francis. Slager and Olofsson back at the points. Here is Barnes with it. Career highs in goals, assists, and points, hitting the 30-goal mark for the first time in his career. Now Jagr with it on the backhand, try to roll it in front. Penalty coming. It's going to be against Zalapski again.
Jaromir Jagr orchestrated this play perfectly. Zalapski's going to the penalty box, and he knows he was duped. Zalapski's playing Jagr straight up, man for man, following him around. Get the stick between the legs, you're not going anywhere. Now watch it go behind the net, and Jagr get the puck. Use his body and his intelligence. Now he knows he's got Zalapski in the wrong angle. Zalapski's got the stick under the arm. Jagr kind of clamped his arm down on it, fell down. Had really nothing to do with Zalapski's stick, but it didn't matter. Drew the penalty, that's what's important.
Zalapski 2 for hooking at 12:55.
2 minutes for hooking. Zalapski is Jaromir Jagr with those league-leading 38 power play points in the regular season. Gets back out there with the man advantage. During the season, the Penguins just 4 for 26 on the power play, and working on another one here.
They're capable of better puck movement on the power play than they've shown so far in this game. They haven't been as basic as I thought they might in the first couple. Just get it back to the point, just shoot some bombs from the point, see how the rebounds come out, and just get yourself into a little bit of flow. It hasn't worked that way so far.
Here is Jagr, tries to make the move one-on-one against Malakoff, who got a piece of the puck, and just enough to slow it down. Jagr trying to dig it out of there. Francis helps out, back to the line. Hatcher winds up, didn't have a clear shot to the net. Now it comes to Jagr, to the forehand, waits, tries to hand it off for Hatcher, but it's knocked away by the Canadiens. Cleared to the boards, held in by Olofsson. It comes back to the line. Hatcher has it. He winds up, drives the shot, knocked down in front. It comes to Olofsson with a chance, and that deflects off of Ulanov and into the crowd, out of play. Minute 11 left in the Zalapski penalty. 6:16 left in the second period here at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. Game 1 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom. And you're with us here on the Deuce. We've got a lot of playoff action coming your way. Here is Francis leading over to take the draw against Foose. Couple of veterans of the playoff wars. Francis gets it back to Slager. Now it comes to Hatcher. Hatcher rolls it across, or tries to deflect in front of Hogue, and it's covered up by the veteran goaltender. In front for Hatcher, and one time it just wide. Beautiful setup by Jagr, and Hatcher just deflected it too high. Still plenty of time with the man advantage. Jagr with a shot, and just squeezing the pads together was Andy Moog.
That last scoring chance by Hatcher, who's got to be thinking, how did I miss that? It really demonstrates the attention that Jaromir Jagr creates. When he has the puck, all 4 Montreal Canadiens were watching him. Now look at that pass. Look, is there anybody around Hatcher? No, not for about a block and a half. But he tried to redirect it. It handcuffed him a little bit. It was in his feet. But I mean, what a glorious scoring chance. And it never even ended up on net. But he knows what to do. 13 of his 19 goals on the power play. And he knows how to steal in like that backdoor stuff when everybody's looking at Jagr. He's terrific at that.
14th full season in the National Hockey League, actually appearing in the playoffs for the 14th time. He played as a youngster after winding up his junior career. Only time he has missed the playoffs in his NHL career, 1996 with the Dallas Stars. And here is Hatcher handing it off. This is trying to center. And a penalty coming here. It's going to go against the Penguins, and it's going to be Hatcher going off for tripping.
Kevin Hatcher was frustrated a moment ago, missing a scoring chance. Now he's frustrated because he gets called right there on a tripping call. Could have been interference or tripping. Actually, Rob Schick made both signals, and I think he was explaining himself to Hatcher in so doing. The final call, I think, is going to be tripping. At first, he made the interference sign. It was a pick. Call it anything you want, but Kevin Hatcher sits out the next 2.
Rob Schick over explaining it to the Penguins bench as well. Maybe he meant to say obstruction tripping. No 4 skaters aside here until the penalty to Zalapsky expires, and then the Canadiens will go on the power play. Just over 5 minutes left in the second period. 1-1 our score. These 2 teams will play here again Saturday night, right here on the Deuce.
That was a good play by Ulanov. There was a rink-wide pass to Freddie Olofsson jumping up on the play. He would have been attacking with big speed wide along the boards if Ulanov hadn't sniffed out the play and cut off the pass.
Zalapsky steps out of the box, may create a 2-on-1 here. Power play. Zalapsky hit the goal post to the left of Barrasso, and it comes out the far side. Zarley Zalapsky right out of the box. We've seen it twice now in this game. Players coming out of the box. Wawrinka was able to score on his shorthanded opportunity.
You're right, that is twice. The first time it was Montreal who went to sleep. This time it's Pittsburgh. There's no excuse. Players on the bench are supposed to be talking. The goalie should be talking. You have to be aware when those guys step out of the penalty box.
Here's Malakoff with it now with just 4.5 left here in the second period. We expected low scoring. We expected a tight game. We have seen it so far here at the Civic Arena. In Game 1, as Malakoff pass slides underneath Hoagland's stick, and it's driven down the ice by Brad Wawrinka, and the Canadiens will have to regroup and travel the full 200 feet. Not a good pass there, and Wawrinka able to easily hammer it all the way down on Andy Moog. Mark Recchi had it slapped away by the hustling Ed Olchuk. Now Recchi again. Look out, Tyler Wright had him lined up. Here is Olchuk with it, and a chance for Tyler Wright. Drives the shot. Moog the right hand save. Moog out almost to the face-off circle to cut down that angle.
Andy Moog is a high percentage goaltender with a lot of experience. He knew he could come out on the angle there and not get burned. There was no other Pittsburgh Penguin coming up on the play. He made the right play, obviously, on a good save.
Hatcher out of the box. The team's at full strength. Kintal trying to send it toward Barrasso. Bouncing puck, recovered Savage. Wheels and fires. Hits the outside of the net. Here's Savage again. He goes rink wide, teed up. Popovich gets one man down. Now winds up, drives, and just scores! Barrasso did not have the goal stick, but still from that angle, hard to believe that Popovich was able to find an opening, and the Canadiens have grabbed a 2-1 lead.
Watch Tom Barrasso. He'll get the stick knocked out of his hand by Danfus, who's in front of the net. Tommy takes a chop at him, then lets the stick go. But what a shot by Popovich. Right over by the far board on the left. The puck will go all the way around to the far side. Popovich will do a great heads-up play. Holds on it. Look how wide he is. He's got the stick. He's scraping the ceiling with that one. And he just ripped that one by Tommy Barrasso. It looks like it goes by him on the far side. There's where Barrasso loses his stick. He goes down. I don't think he saw it until the last second. He was staring right through one of his defenders in front of him. He heard it go by his ear, though. Peter Popovich, huge blast from the boards.
This is his 16th career playoff game and his first career playoff goal. Savage getting the only assist. He made the play across. Francis with a chance here. Moog the save and covers up as Stu Barnes was looking for a possible rebound. So the Montreal Canadiens bounce back as Barrasso couldn't stop it. We are back here in Pittsburgh where the Canadiens have regained the lead at 2-1. Peter Popovich with his first career playoff goal, and a strange one from a tough angle on Barrasso, who had lost his goal stick.
I think when Tommy went down on his knees, he was doing what he would naturally come to a goaltender when he's not sure where the puck is and he can't see it. But it was a perfect piece of shooting by Popovich. Oh man, I didn't know he could shoot the puck that hard. He just blasted that one right by the ear of Barrasso, in off the post.
Zalapsky plays it back. Ulanov is there. Ulanov and Malakoff for the defense pair, but once again Zalapsky, one of the extra defensemen, skating as a forward here against the big line. Zalapsky knocked it away from Jágr. Now Stevenson with it. Bangs it out to center ice. Stu Barnes turned back on the attack but couldn't complete it as Zalapsky able to clear.
Montreal playing a 2-3 basically against the top line of Pittsburgh. Zalapsky playing like a third defenseman. He gets involved very little in the offensive play. He gets close to Jaromir Jágr on the rush when they come up. He's a third defenseman. They just line up across that blue line. Pretty smart tactic. That must have been why Vigneault wanted to practice his close.
Absolutely. Jágr with a chance here. Save. Rebound stopped by Moog. He looked very calm and collected under some pressure there from the likes of Barnes and Jágr. Now Francis not able to keep it in, and Recchi one-on-one against Kasparaitis. Recchi turns back, waits for some reinforcement, now sends it to Shane Corson. Corson looking out in front for Brunet. Brunet had to go back to chase it down. Robert Lang with the intercept, and he just did get it away from Brunet, and here is Straka. Hands it off. Morozov makes the move, comes in, backhands it just wide as Morozov made the move there on Igor Ulanov. In front line with a chance, save, rebound Morozov, that was stopped by Moog. Andy Moog was down and out, and Morozov could not lift it high enough.
Andy Moog, just spectacular. This second line for Pittsburgh with some great scoring chances.
Here is Straka. He rolls it across in front of Moog. Brisebois will chase it down for the Canadiens and clear. Now back the other way. Savage trying to get there with some speed. Barrasso hammers it off the board. Straka tried to clear it. Is taken away by Brisebois to the net. It was blocked in front. And the Penguins able to clear the zone.
Straka, Lang, and Morozov have been the most potent line for Pittsburgh over their last couple of regular season games. They've got it going in this last shift or two. Oh man, Andy Moog, what saves.
Pretty good choice for starting goaltender, it looks like right now.
Brilliance, sheer brilliance.
Here the Canadiens holding it in. Roginski hands it off. Brisebois to the net. Save made by Barrasso and a screen there. And back the other way, the Penguins try to break out 4-on-3. Here is Brown with it. Brown is stood up. Now Pronger cutting to the middle with shoulder to the ice by Savage, who clears it center ice down. Foose has it there. Canadiens making changes. Penguins look to make changes as well with just over 20 seconds left of the period.
And those saves by Andy Moog obviously bolster the confidence level of all the skaters up front for Montreal. That's the kind of saves you need. They're ahead in the game, but whether you're ahead, behind, or tied, when your goaltender does stuff like that for you, you just know you have a feeling of confidence that'll show through at the other end of the ice.
Stefan Quintal hands it to Stevenson, and the final seconds of this second period tick off the clock, and it ends.
Mark Recchi's had another terrific season for Montreal, and it was voted their team MVP, and well-deserving. He comes through year after year when it comes to providing offense.
Mark Recchi, of course, part of the first of two Stanley Cup championships in the early 90s here, part of the 91 Stanley Cup team, and part of a huge trade late in the 91-92 season. Sent him to Philadelphia, brought Rick Tocchet, Shel Samuelson, Kenny Reagan here.
Yeah, there were some big trading deadline deals made by Mr. Patrick in consecutive years, and they brought them 2 consecutive Stanley Cups in the early 90s. You're absolutely right, Dave. And this year they were a little more quiet. The big move Montreal made, of course, was in the offseason getting that man, Andy Moog. And he really has been a terrific stabilizing influence, not just on Jocelyn Thibault. The whole team has really felt the influence of Andy. 38 years young for Andy.
Had 40 starts this year in the regular season. Jocelyn Thibault had 42, including 8 of the last 12. But Andy Moog told the coaching staff, if you're leaning toward me to start in the playoffs, I don't need to play a lot down the stretch. Here's Slager, top of the circle, and that shot deflected over the top of the goal, all the way out to center ice off the glass. Now Yager again, slides it ahead. Francis holds it to the left of Andy Moog. Canadiens get there. Malakoff able to clear the zone. Now Malakoff has to recover again, makes a move away from Barnes, slides it now. Center ice from Arturo, and he'll send it deep into the Pittsburgh end. Yager's pass was deflected. It's recovered though by Sean Pronger. Pronger plays his own pass off the boards and sends it deep into the Canadian zone.
Sean Pronger's line has gotten out there against the Recce line fairly regularly, but there hasn't been the severe matching up that we saw in the first period. Both coaches trying to go for flow at certain times too.
Here is Warinka able to hold it in for the Penguins. Batted off the board, now put out in front of Andy Moog, but it's recovered by the Canadiens, who, like most teams, had an excellent record when leading after 2 periods of the regular season. They were 33-2 in the 35 games they led, and this play offside at the Pittsburgh line. And again, we've talked a little bit about the controversy. Andy Moog being named the goaltender. That decision not necessarily controversial, but the fact that Montreal waited until game time to announce who was starting in goal. And if you had the call, if you were the coach of the Montreal Canadiens, who would you pick as the #1 goaltender for the playoffs? Andy Moog or Jocelyn Thibault? Hop on the NHL page at ESPN.com. Cast your vote, and we'll give you the results a little bit later on here in the 3rd period.
Little old-time hockey from Alain Vigneault before it even started. 23-3-5 when leading after the 2nd period. His club has been strong, as are most teams, you pointed out, Dave, when they're leading after 2 periods.
Center ice, it is backhanded. In behind Andy Moog. Taken there by Manson. Moves it along now for Brisebois, and he tried to clear, did not come out. Hamer's shot high off the glass, picked up now by Morozov. Centering pass, picked up. Lang, a great save there by Moog. Robert Lang was robbed by Andy Moog at point-blank range. Here's Straka, this line again, Brian.
That's right. It's the same line again. The way they finished off the 2nd period. Oh, the fans wanted a tripping call there on, was that Ruchinski down in behind the net? No call.
Now, Morozov was a little bit off balance, and they got tangled up, and it looked like Rob Schick felt that Ruchinski got himself untangled the best he could. Here's Ruchinski back the other way, given a bump by Hatcher. And the Canadiens regrouping now as it comes to Manson.
Montreal's got to be feeling so good about themselves right now after another huge save by Andy Moog here in the early stages of the 3rd period.
Penguins recover. It's Yager with it. We showed you at the start of the period, hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity, not a lot of room out there on the ice. Canadiens very often, excuse me, Brian, have had that 3rd defenseman who's playing as a forward. They've got Zalewski out there again.
Exactly, Dave. That's really been an interesting story to this. We didn't expect to see that, but Zarley Zalewski has been out there whenever they can get him out there against Jaromir Jagr, and he's played him extremely well at the Montreal blue line and inside the zone.
Brasso makes the right pad save on Turner Stevenson's drive. Back to get it now. Francis rolls it ahead just out of the reach of Barnes, who had some speed through the neutral zone. Milanoff will clear it along the board. Shane Corson is there. Now Recce tried to play it. He was checked. He would send it right back in behind Moog.
Oh, Andy Moog has been the man late stages of the 2nd and early in the 3rd. Terrific reaction to a quick pass out from the corner to the front of the net. Look at that positioning, the quick glove and the quick pad, and it's still a 2-1 lead for Montreal because of it.
Warinka now deep in his own zone. He has the only goal for the Penguins. That was shorthanded. Brown dumps it into the Canadian zone. Popovich, who has the go-ahead goal. Run hard there by Brown. Popovich, though, protecting the puck. Now it's Hicks sending it back to the line. Warinka sends it across for Kasparaitis. Sweeps it back along the boards behind Moog. Hicks sends it in the corner. Now Rob Brown with it. Brune trying to stay with him. A wraparound attempt. His block comes out to Recchi. Rinka, though, gets a stick. Got it to hold it in. Now Brune again, this time bearing down as he is run hard by Rob Brown behind the play.
Brune got a little elbow in, too. He took a shot at Brown after the fact as well. Montreal doing a really good job of protecting Andy Moog. The whole front of the net, the slot area has been really blanketed by the Montreal Canadiens inside their own blue line, and Pittsburgh's getting frustrated at this stage of the game.
Hatcher for the Penguins lobs it back into the Montreal zone. Robert Lang, who had that great chance moments ago, hands it off. Morozov tries to go back in deep for Lang or Straka, but the puck knocked away by Popovich down the ice. And this is going to be an icing call. Well, the Montreal Canadiens have played in several one-goal games and have not come out on the right end very often. As you see, 10 and 17 in one-goal games. Pittsburgh doing much better at 12 and 7. We did the Chicago Blackhawk game late in the year. They had 21 one-goal losses, which tied an NHL record. You got to be able to play in one-goal games, Brian, at this time of year. It goes without saying. Yeah,
and that's the biggest change that Kevin Constantine and his coaching staff has instituted here in Pittsburgh. They had a run-and-gun team, a high-powered team, as we all know, for many years. Not anymore. And he sold the program to the players. They bought into it, and the result is they won a lot of one-goal games. Terrific work by everybody.
Face-off control here by Bureau. Now Brisebois for the Canadiens. Taken to the boards by Morozov. Manson turns away. Manson along the board. Stevenson just tried to make sure the puck got out of there. And good second effort able to do that. And the Canadiens look to make a change now as Hatcher backhands it toward the Montreal line, but there's nothing doing there for the Penguins. Here is Savage. Plays it ahead. Brzezinski couldn't make the play. And Morozov circling back, number 95 for Pittsburgh. Hands it off now for Robert Lang. Lang pulls up on Brisebois, sends it to the corner. Brzezinski's in there for the Canadiens. He plays it along the boards, and now Savage, number 49, will go rink wide just out of the reach of Damphousse. Hatcher will get there for Pittsburgh. Reverses it back for Tamer. Tamer giveaway there. Damphousse tough angle. Tamer made up for his giveaway and came out and made the diving shot block.
Nice job there by Chris Tamer. That was a dangerous situation, especially with a guy like Vinny Damphousse with the stick cocked up in the air and ready for the big blast on net. A turnover that he created, and he covered up for it.
Face-off deep in the Pittsburgh zone, and we'll see if the Penguins can come up with some kind of an adjustment to that strategy. Tamer couldn't handle it cleanly. Ulana bounces it back into the Pittsburgh zone.
That's the great thing about playoff series, though, Dave, that I love. 7-game series. It's about making adjustments from one game to the next. You have to be able to play more than one type of game, and you have to make adjustments if you're going to win.
Hatcher tried to set up Straka, who was cutting for the net. The pass didn't get through, and a bouncing puck recovered by Bordelot. He couldn't keep it away from Robert Lang, and Lang has slashed it, takes a look over his shoulder, and indeed Rob Schick saw it. So it's going to be a power play coming for the Penguins, and Yager doing his best to try to keep this play alive. They want to at least get it down into the Montreal zone for the faceoff, but the touch up here by the Canadiens. And that slash on Robert Lang will give the Penguins the power play. And speaking of slashes, there's a reason why Saku Koivu is not in uniform.
He's got a broken bone in his hand right above the knuckle, and it hasn't healed yet. And they really miss Saku Koivu. Here he is behind the net, and there's the whack. You can see him go down immediately. That left hand, there's a lot of tiny bones in your hand, and one of them right at the base of the knuckle on that left hand has caused Saku Koivu to miss the last 7 games, and boy, do they miss him. What a dynamic player. Of course, he fits in with Corson and Recchi so well, and they're hoping to get him back pretty quick. He's got to be happy that they're leading this game by 2-1 on the road. And here's the last shift. Bordelot with the slash on Robert Lang, and that's the reason for the penalty on Bordelot.
So Pittsburgh goes to the power play for the 5th time as Alain Vigneault looks on with his penalty-killing unit. Rene, Bureau, Brisebois, and Manson to start things off. Talk about the importance of special teams. Pittsburgh's only goal has been shorthanded. Montreal has a power play goal. Let's see what the Penguins can do here with a man advantage. Olsen moving up. Fights off Brunet. Now Barnes slides it near side. Francis to the front of that. Saved by Moog. And the puck cleared to the line and just out.
The two most offensively talented defensemen for Pittsburgh, Olsen and Hatcher, out there. They're both right-handed. Most teams try to get a lefty and a righty out there, obviously, so you can get the one-time shots, which are so popular in the NHL. Pittsburgh not using that. Both right-handed guys, Olsen and Hatcher, back on the point most of the time on the power play here tonight, and they really are not generating a lot of shots on goal. Doesn't matter left-handed or right-handed.
Well, there was the veteran Olsen in his 7th playoff, acquired in November of '96. Several moves that were made there by Pittsburgh at the start of the season. Olsen acquired from Anaheim along with Alex Hicks for Dmitry Mironov and Sean Antofsky.
I mean, that was a deal that actually worked out well for both teams. Olsen's done a nice job here in Pittsburgh. Dmitry Mironov did a real nice job for Anaheim for a long time. Of course, has since been moved on just recently to the Detroit Red Wings. So that's what you hope for. I think most people, when you see a trade, that it works out for both teams. That one did.
Approaching the halfway mark of the 3rd period. Penguins trailing by 1. They have the man advantage. Here comes Recchi, though, with a loose puck. Snaps the shot. Just wide on the glove side of Morasso. Jagr slides it ahead now for Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher backhands it to the left of Moog. Bouncing puck off of it, tries to drive it out of the zone. Jagr able to hold it in and protects it. Sends it to the corner. Centering pass for Barnes. Bouncing puck, couldn't handle it cleanly. Moves it now to Jagr again. Jagr sends it toward the Montreal goal, but the Canadiens are there when they clear.
Stu Barnes on the power play really goes deep in the slot. He's out near his own defenseman. When they make that pass to him, it's difficult. It's right in between the Canadiens forwards and the Canadiens defensemen. He's getting some chances, hasn't been able to convert. And once the puck gets being chased around in that upper area, and Ronnie Francis slips right down to the doorstep right in front of Andy Moog. So they're going from high to low, back again.
Not much happening for the Penguins here on this power play. We're down to 20 seconds left already, but here comes Straka between the circles. Straka pushes it now to Jagr. Jagr sends it across, picked up. Slager broke the stick on the shot, or did he? No, he just fanned on it. He gets the puck back. He'll try it again high this time, and this fires over top of the net. It is held in by Warenka. There's a couple of seconds left now in the Bordelot penalty, as Slager back to get it.
Slager was expecting Breezeblatt to go down, I'm sure, and try to block that shot. So he faked the shot and went for the pass, and it turned out, if he could do it again, he certainly would have shot.
Breezeblatt circling back behind the Montreal goal. Sends it ahead now for Manson. John Pronger able to recover for the Penguins. So they miss an opportunity here in the 3rd period with the man advantage to tie the hockey game. Manson reverses it back, and Call took a big hit there, and it's being chased by Kasparaitis. He will get there and touch up for the icing call. The Pittsburgh Penguins have not fared well in the opening game of playoff series, and they find themselves on home ice, trailing here by 1. Zalapsky, an excellent job defensively and an excellent scheme put together by the rookie head coach Alain Vigneault. Very effective.
And I think it's been difficult for Jagr, for that line, and for Pittsburgh to find a way around it. Again, Montreal kept their practices closed. They wanted to have a few new wrinkles, and this one is the most surprising, and obviously it's working here. Zalapsky's done a great job playing forward and acting as a 3rd defenseman.
Here's Morozov in front of Tim. Great stop by Moog on Martin Straka. Again, it's that second line. Morozov, Lang, and Straka. And this is an icing call, and Martin Straka, like the rest of us, cannot believe the save that Andy Moog just made.
I'm not sure Andy Moog knows how he made this save, but Straka is shaking his head. Andy's in the zone right now. We've seen it 100 times from the goaltenders. Watch how quickly this happened. actually has lost his last 8 consecutive playoff games against Pittsburgh, but he's on the road to changing that one here.
But of course, those were very different Pittsburgh teams that he lost against, and yes, I would imagine.
And those were with when he was playing with the Boston Bruins. Fine, yeah. They had some good battles.
Cam Neely, Ulf Samuelsson.
Yep.
Great battles. Here is Barnes now. Drops it off. Francis, a one-timer. That's about the 3rd time in this game that Ron Francis has misfired. The 2nd time he's broken his stick on a one-timer. Well, you don't want that happening in those critical situations.
No, it drives coaches nuts.
Here is Malakoff. Hands it off for Recchi. Snaps the shot. Good stop there by Barrasso. Flashed out the right skate as Brunet sends it back along the boards. Olsen doing a good job tying his man up along the boards. Just over 3 minutes remaining here in regulation. It's a 2-1 Canadiens lead here in Game 1 of this first round Eastern Conference Series. Now Brunet for the Canadiens goes cross-ice. Recchi was heading to the bench to complete a line change.
Well, the line is going to get double shifted for Pittsburgh. It's happening right now. It's Lang, Straka, and Morozov. They've had by far the best scoring chances, and Konstantinov hoping they'll have 1 or 2 more.
Here's Ruzhinsky and a steal. Damphus went to the front of the net. It's deflected wide behind Barrasso. Now here is Damphus with it. Damphus being watched by Hatcher. Now getting a pick was Damphus there. Backhands along the ice in front of Barrasso, but the Penguins come up with it. And it's center ice now. Morozov challenged by Manson, and the puck over the glass out of play.
Well, Montreal obviously realizes that Straka and that second line have been very effective. Vinny Damphus really laid a lick on Straka at the end of this last shift. Watch Straka touch the puck. He doesn't know he's coming. That's the way to finish your checks in the playoffs.
Hustling back now for the Penguins as we wind down toward 2 minutes left here in the 3rd period of a 2-1 playoff hockey game. Here is Jagr. 3 Canadians backing up. Picked up Francis. A chance. Save made. Both. Rebound does not get through. It was blocked by the defenseman Malakoff. Francis that time didn't try to lean on it and slap it. He shot the wrist shot. Here is Slager. That goes wide. Mark Bureau without a stick. And he covers up.
Literally has Jagr all wrapped up. There's Zalapsky taking him as he comes in. Puts a hold on him. There was a rebound. Was Jagr able to get to it?
No, Zalapsky has had a task, and he has performed it well.
And lots of ice time, too. He's got to be loving it. That's what players just love matchups, especially big matchups. When you're playing against the man on the other team, which Zalapsky is, every player in the NHL loves a challenge.
Jagr gets it off the faceoff, backhands it toward the front of the net, score! Deflected in, I believe, by Stu Barnes! And it's Jagr that set it up. Andy Moog is arguing that the player was in the crease. Now, will Rob Schick ask to have this reviewed? I don't think so. He pointed right to center ice, and he's skating away from the timekeeper's area.
Well, this was a quick developing play and a quick spin around pass by Jagr. Jagr will get it, spin around, watch Barnes go to the net. It'll be a backhand pass, traffic in front, but Barnes is pushed in. Well, that Corson had him right off the faceoff, pushed him in. I don't know whether it went off the stick or off the foot. And the leg came out. Boy, you know what? I don't think Barnes touched it.
No, it's Yuri Slager's goal. It is Slager's goal, Brian, from Jagr and Barnes.
Wow. I thought Barnes got that in front, but he didn't.
No, it is a 2-2 hockey game with 1:25 left here in regulation. Here is Straka. Hands it off. Rob Brown with a drive. Moog the save, and he hangs on and gets the whistle here.
Well, there's the first time they have any emotion, and yeah, the emotion's really starting to fly now. But the fans are into the game for the first time in almost 2 periods, I would say. A goal will do that to you. Some momentum. It's a little over a minute to go in regulation. Tied at 2-2. Rob Brown just shooting the puck at the net. Got great hands and a goal scorer's touch. A little touching going on here. He gets popped from behind by Corson. Cross-check across the back. Brown gives him a how do you do under the chin. And coincidental minors, perhaps. That'll clear the ice a little bit. Little 4-on-4 action. Gives the goal scorers more room to work with.
2-minute roughing. It is Brown for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Benoit Brunet.
I'm not sure he got the right number there.
No.
I thought it would be Corson. Corson was definitely 27 with the cross-check. Brunet is in the penalty box unless he did something else that I didn't see. They may have just got the wrong man there, sending Brunet off instead of Shane Corson. But nonetheless, still a 4-on-4. So an exciting way to possibly end regulation here with the extra room on the ice. And the big guy, Jaromir, comes back. No surprise there. Some real good skill and talent by both teams. You got Vinny Danfus up front, along with Martin Rucinski, against Francis and Yager up front. And there's Yuri Slager. First career playoff goal. 1-1 tonight for Yuri.
Of the 4 goals that have been scored, Brian, 3 of the players have scored their first career playoff goal, and Rucinski his second. Penguins have scored 1 4-on-4 goal during the regular season, given up 2. Montreal has scored 4 and given up 3. Montreal has fared a little bit better in 4-on-4. Minute 16 left here in regulation. Draw comes to Yager. Look at the move. Decides to back off now. Now sends it toward the net. That's off a skate. Francis Yager. Olsen and Hatcher out there for Kevin Constantine. Vinny Danfus. Martin Rucinski. Igor Ulanov and Malakoff for Alain Vigneault as Barrasso is going to hold on to this puck.
In a situation like this with a game on the line, tie hockey game, you got to have the big horses out there. The big horses are there. Yager and Francis trying to create something. Yager going to the box here. I'm kind of surprised. I don't know whether he wants to just take a little breather. Only 2 players out there on the ice for Pittsburgh.
Well, Francis is going to stay, and now Martin Straka is going to come out. Hatcher and Olsen will remain as well. And there's Martin Straka, who had that tremendous chance that was just taken away by Andy Moog in the 3rd period.
Well, the big guns haven't been able to come through yet for Pittsburgh. Not a goal, so you got 2 defensemen who have both goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins so far. That's actually a good sign that you're in the hockey game and your big guns haven't counted yet.
Face off deep in the Pittsburgh zone. Danfus wins it cleanly. Malakoff tees it up, but the shot was blocked by Francis. Ron Francis, after losing that draw, made up for it with the shot block. Now it comes to Danfus again. 4 skaters aside. Here's Rucinski, who has one of the 2 Montreal goals. Down to Malakoff. Hatcher was upended, was looking for a call, but nothing coming. Malakoff waiting. Now Danfus has it. Half a minute left in regulation. Martin Straka moves it across now for Olsen. Olsen into the Montreal zone. Top of the circle. Drives the shot. Oh, that was blocked by Ulanov straight on. I'm not sure where he caught that, but it stung him. Here is Hatcher with it. Goes to the net. Moog to save. Loose puck now comes to Danfus. Danfus being pressured by Straka. Around the boards, Rucinski with Olsen bearing down on him, able to clear the zone.
I give Ulanov a lot of credit there. He was hurting. He got right back up though and made sure that he got back into the play so it didn't give up a goal in a crucial situation in a tie hockey game. He'll bear the pain later on.
Well, the playoffs are not the regular season, so it won't be a 5-minute sudden death. We will have the new Dodge intermission, overtime report, a full intermission, and then 20 minutes on the clock. Stay with us. ESPN News Network is next.
Dave King, the assistant coach of the Montreal Canadiens, is a guy who used to use that tactic when he coached back in Calgary. So we suspect that that's probably where the tactic originated from. And they closed practices before coming into this Game 1. And this is maybe one of the wrinkles that they wanted to keep under their hat as long as they could. and it has worked extremely well, except until that tying goal. But Jágr, I mean, he made something out of nothing. That really wasn't a great scoring chance.
4 skaters aside to start the overtime. Still 43 seconds remaining on the coincidental minors. To Brunet of the Canadiens and Brown of Pittsburgh. Here is Jágr taking it in deep. Jágr wheels it toward the net, deflected by Francis, and ends up high off the glass, still in play. Now Ruzhinsky getting some help. Francis and Jágr are there. Now it comes to Malakoff. He goes to down boost. Cross-ice pass. Bouncing puck. Jágr holds it in. Gloved down by Malakoff. He controls for the Canadiens. Now to down boost. Rink wide pass up the left side. Here is Yolana for the chance. Left pass save made by Barrasso.
That was a cannon. Malakoff can really shoot the puck. When he comes down with a little bit of speed, he wired that one right along the ice. No such thing as a bad shot in overtime.
Coincidental minors have expired. Now we're 5-on-5, and here comes Mark Recchi on the attack. Snaps the shot, hit the side of the net to the left of Barrasso. Recchi follows up, has it again. Sends it out toward the point. Manson has it. Another one that can shoot it. Dumps it toward the goal. It's in the glove of Barrasso. He'll hold it there.
Speaking of Dave Manson, he's had a heck of a season here in Montreal this year. In the past, his statistics have not always been tremendous, especially when it comes to plus minus and things like that. But he was well over plus 20 this year, plus 22. And that's a good stat for him. He's a solid guy. He came into the league as a real tough guy. He's backed off on that. 0 fighting majors for Dave Manson this year. He has stuck to hockey. He has cut down the turnovers that he's sometimes been guilty of inside his own zone. Has played really solid for them back on the blue line.
Yeah, I think we had a stat a couple of weeks ago when we had the Canadiens on National Hockey Night. He was something like minus 74, minus 78 over the previous 3 seasons coming in here. So a dramatic turnaround.
Yeah, well, that's a factor of the teams he was on, certainly.
Absolutely,
too.
yeah.
But he has really, really cleaned up his own game.
Here is Shane Corson sending it deep into the Pittsburgh zone. Tamer and Corson come together. Tamer able to work it to Jari Slinger. Now it's slapped away toward the net. Kicked aside by Barrasso. And he kicked it right out to Slinger up the left side. Looking for Straka. Good defensive read there by Brisebois. Took it away. Slides it back the other way. Benoit Brunet. And into Robert Lang, and now Lang takes over. Lang, Straka, and Morozov, who takes the lead pass. Morozov drops it back. Straka works his way into the backhand, and he mowed the save. And the net is knocked off by a Montreal player. And what have we got? A penalty shot being indicated by Rob Schick.
Wow. Wow, I cannot believe
A penalty shot
of
at
this call. Patrice Brisebois, I think, is in shock night right now. Brisebois was victimized by Straka coming in late because Andy Moog had made the save. The puck was already stopped. Brisebois will come in afterwards and sort of out of frustration will knock the net off its moorings. But when you're in overtime, if you intentionally knock the net off, it is a penalty shot. Brisebois made 2 mistakes. The second one is much bigger. This one. But his momentum really carried him into the net. That's what he's going to be upset about. But what a brilliant play by Morozov to leave that one for Straka. Straka strung it out. Andy Moog was terrific. And Patrice Brisebois knocked the net off the moorings. Wow. Penalty shot, overtime.
Well, there have been 32 penalty shots taken all time in Stanley Cup playoff competition. Only 11 times has the goaltender been beaten. Everybody here at the Civic Arena is on their feet. Martin Straka, who had the chance, is going to take the penalty shot against Andy Moog.
Just a little bit of pressure maybe for Marty Straka. He's getting some encouragement from the guys over at the bench. Oh, Morozov, excuse me. It's Morozov. Morozov is going to take the penalty shot. Now I think there's an argument. There's an argument. Dave Manson's coming out to talk to Rob Schick, shaking his head right away and waving his arms. Hey, what is this guy doing taking it? They're probably thinking, hey, Straka's the guy who had the puck last. Why doesn't he do it? But Pittsburgh gets to choose who they want, and it's Morozov. Look at Brisebois. Brisebois is explaining.
Here comes Morozov. In on Andy Moog. Oh, and he hit the goal post. He hit the goal post to the left of Andy Moog. And overtime will continue.
The goaltender's best friend. But Andy Moog did a great job of stringing that play out and causing Morozov to simply run out of room. Morozov being consoled by his team. Vigneault and his team dodges a bullet. Here's another look. He's going to go to his backhand. Andy Moog stays with him, strings it out, had the legs over there. Morozov definitely had him beaten on the shot. Oh, now a scrum too over in between the benches. Boy, there's some, and it was the outside of the poach. There wasn't much room on that short side. Oh, there's a scrap going on in front of the benches now. Wow. There wasn't much emotion in this game early on. We talked about it. Now look at all the number of players on the ice.
Whoa, man. Boy, can you believe this? We had nothing even close to this kind of emotion or anything breaking out between these two clubs. And then the penalty shot awarded by Rob Schick. And Morozov, playing in his first playoff game, going against the veteran Andy Moog, made the move and had him beaten and hit the goalpost.
Corson is right in the middle of one of the scrums. Bureau is in there. Stevenson. That's Chris Tamer for Pittsburgh, in against Pittsburgh. Excuse me, in against Corson. Whoa, tensions went from 0 to off the scale in a pretty short space of time, and a penalty shot in overtime in the playoffs will do that to you. Here's another look. The initial attack, Straka coming in, strings it wide. Great save by Andy Moog. Then watch Brisebois pushes the net off. In the opinion of referee Rob Schick, that was intentional. When you do that in overtime, it's one of these, a penalty shot. Morozov comes in. Andy Moog will string it out again. Goal post. And while Morozov is reacting, things start to heat up in front of the net, excuse me, in front of the benches. And here are the Montreal players and the Pittsburgh Penguins. A lot of bodies out there.
However, it appeared that the save had already been made and it was on the follow-up.
I think that's what Andy Moog is probably most upset about. He made the save and the play was over. He was thinking the whistle goes fine, the play is over. What difference does it make if the net was pushed off? But that wasn't Schick's interpretation.
Well, penalties have been called coincidental at 1:44 of the overtime period. Two players from each side are in the box. And it comes down to Olsen, winds up, slides it across, a one-timer here on the way, just wide of Andy Moog. And it's Stevenson who sends it all the way back into the Pittsburgh zone. Here is Francis with it now. He just hands it off there. Stu Barnes back to Francis, top of the circle for Barnes, and he was interfered with, but no call coming here from Rob Schick. And now the puck off the skate of Ulanov. He'll start it back. Montreal has a 4-on-2 if they hurry. Ulanov into the zone, top of the circle, hands it off one time, just steered aside by Barrasso. Stevenson goes for the front of the net, but the puck off the skate of Olsen. And it's back to center ice for Jaromir Jagr. Jagr hands it off now. Here is Pronger, and that slipped under the glove of Moog and just wide of the far post. Jagr comes up with it again. Here is Pronger. Pushing it back into the Montreal zone. Taken down by Popovich. And Warenka has it now for the Penguins. He rolls it across. And Kevin Hatcher drives one in wide of the Montreal goal. Here is Pronger. Sends it in deep. Centering pass intended there for Rob Brown, who had the gun cocked and ready to shoot it. And now it is knocked away by Downpoos. Cleared up the boards. Warenka held it in, but Downpoos will hustle back across his own zone and clear it to Ruzhinsky at center ice. Ruzhinsky now rips one right into the glove of Barrasso, and he will hold it there. Well, the second overtime penalty shot that has been involving the Pittsburgh Penguins as Kenny Reggett stopped Joey Juneau a couple of years back. Now again, let's take a look at the breakaway opportunity here. Here is Bureau dumping it back into the Pittsburgh zone. Now Hatcher nearly collided there with a teammate, spins around, had it knocked away by Savage, recovered here. Brzezinski trying to go to the net with it, it was blocked. Olsen plays it around the board. Rob Brown hustling over for the Penguins, but the Canadiens have it. Here's a wraparound attempt by Danfus, a save made by Barrasso. Savage with a chance, and a penalty coming here against Pittsburgh.
Vinny Danfus came within a hair of winning this game in overtime for Montreal Canadiens on the wraparound. It seemed almost in slow motion as it trickled by the far side. And a penalty will end up being called on Pittsburgh Penguins. And speaking of Pittsburgh Penguins, Jaromir Jagr is headed to the locker room. Now, hopefully it's only an equipment problem, but there's a look at the last play.
Face off to the right of Tom Barrasso. Overtime, game 1. Pittsburgh and Montreal. We had a penalty shot in the overtime that was missed by Morozov. Canadiens control the draw. Here is Brisebois. Sends it across. Malakoff top of the circle. Goes back to Brisebois straight away. Malakoff right point. Sends it toward the net. Tip just wide of Barrasso. Here is Corson with it. Now for Recchi. Back to Malakoff. Malakoff being watched closely there by Ian Moran. It comes back to Malakoff. Just did hold it in. Recchi to the corner for Shane Corson. Back to Recchi, top of the circle. Sends it to Malakoff. Cross ice for Brisebois. Ian Moran is just not going to give Malakoff any room out at that blue line. Now Warenka for the Penguins will play it around the boards, but Recchi holding it in for the Canadiens. Sends it across. Brisebois tees it up. Now to the side of the net. They tried to hit Shane Corson. He couldn't corral it.
Great coverage by Pittsburgh. Great coverage by Pittsburgh. Oh, is Recchi upset? He got a high stick from Kasparaitis. No call on the play by Rob Schick, and Recchi's got a few choice words for Rob Schick.
Well, he wants to be careful. There's still nearly a minute left in this power play opportunity. Kasparaitis and Recchi did get tangled up, and the stick did come up. Right here, the Penguins able to clear. Now Malakoff slides it ahead. Shane Corson into the Penguin zone. We'll dump it along the boards. Canadiens with a new power play unit out there. It comes down to Manson. Sends it in deep. Backhand, a save by Barrasso. He was already in position on Vinny Danfus.
Smart play by Tom Barrasso. Came out and challenged Vinny Danfus, who was on his backhand on a bad angle. It was Manson who fed the play down low. That was just good smarts by Barrasso. Get close to the puck. Don't give him a chance to change it. Change the direction of it. Here's the high stick by Recchi. He was obviously upset. Kasparaitis thinking, I didn't do anything. Don't give you a penalty.
Face off again deep in the Penguin zone. Canadiens control it as Hoagland gets it back to Quintal. Back to Hoagland. Sends it deep now for Danfus. Canadiens cycling as it. Danfus sends it deep now for Savage. Brzezinski trying to get there. Penguins hammered around the boards. Manson holds it in. He dumps it in wide of Barrasso. Bouncing puck recovered by Kasparaitis. Up the boards. Brzezinski blocks it again. Brzezinski goes down but makes the play to Danfus. Down to 10 seconds left in the Pittsburgh penalty. Tough angle shot and a save made by Barrasso there on Danfus.
Montreal getting a little frustrated, I think, being able to handle the puck or not get shots away. Vinny Danfus just decides he might as well just jam one at the net from over by the boards. It wasn't a great scoring chance by any means. And Tommy Barrasso covered up. There are the shots on goal to this point in the overtime. And there's Jaromir Jagr back into the action very soon.
That is equipment manager Steve Lattin, not the medical trainer that went in with Jaromir Jagr. So Jaromir Jagr tried out 3 different pairs of skates this morning, and like a lot of the great players, very particular about his equipment. I'm sure that's true for most players in the National Hockey League, great or not.
Yeah, or he may just lost an edge.
Yep.
In his scenario, which the game could go on for quite some time. He doesn't want to be falling down when he makes a sharp turn or a stop. Cost the game for them, possibly.
Now, we've seen players come out of the penalty box be a factor here, Brian. There's 7 seconds left in the Hatcher penalty. Face-off in the Pittsburgh zone. So if the Penguins control this, Canadiens have to be aware of the man coming out, and here is Jagr. And Jagr is hooked, and no call coming from Rob Schick as Hatcher comes out of the box. Now Barrasso out to settle it down for Olofsson. Comes to Stu Barnes, so Jagr with that fresh edge on the skate. Had some jump in that opportunity. Could not quite get clear. Here is Jagr with it again. He'll carry into the Montreal zone. Gets the shot away, deflected wide of Moog. Now Francis behind the net took a swipe at it, but Mark Bureau comes up with it for the Canadiens. And Bureau makes a move to get away from Barnes, puts it up on the glass in behind Barrasso. He settles it down there, now shoots it back up the board. It's off the skate of Jagr and recovered by Barnes, trying to get going with some speed, and Manson stood him right up. And the Canadiens clear center ice. Here is Stevenson into the Pittsburgh zone. He rips a shot that missed the net by a wide margin. Now the linesman Dan McCourt trying to get out of the way. Oh, the skate came up. The skate of Stevenson came up on Dan McCourt.
Ouch.
Boy.
He took a pretty good lick there. Stevenson wanted to throw a good check and ended up getting Dan McCourt. Watch this one. There's the puck. McCourt's not even looking. Boom. Slager stepped out of the way. And that skate came up very dangerously.
Dan McCourt,
yeah.
He said, I already shaved today. 12:22 left here in the first overtime period. Dave Strader along with Brian Engblom and the rest of our Fire on Ice crew. And glad you're with us here in Pittsburgh. We've had a penalty shot here in the overtime by Morozov, his first ever playoff game. Rob Schick ruling the net dislodged during the course of a breakaway. Canadiens pressuring here. Barrasso down, makes the save. Now Robert Lang comes up with it, and Lang hands it off for Tamer. Tamer looking up the left side, a bank pass. Oh, intended for Straka, and it hit the linesman Wayne Bonney. And the play offside.
The pace is slowed down a little bit. It happens often in overtime. Players start to pick their spots. The smart players, the gifted players will know if there's too many guys back, they're not going to force it. You're going to make sure you don't give up anything defensively. But if they see a crack in the armor, then you see the tempo pick up instantaneously.
Barrasso able to settle it down now for Yuri Slager. Back to get it now is Francis. Hands it back to Slager. Olofsson tips it ahead. He couldn't control it. Ulanov now for the Canadiens has it. And it comes to Francis. Top of the circle. Shot blocked. Backhand in front. Jagr to the backhand. Couldn't complete it, and a bouncing puck is covered up by Andy Moog. Jagr trying to make that patented move where he holds it out on the forehand and goes to the backhand. And Andy Moog was equal to the task again.
He's been tremendous at stringing things out. And watch how he'll string Jagr out, too, even with this great reach. Look at Andy. The poke check is what did it.
Yep.
And then the presence of mind to keep his eye on the puck, even though watch his head will get jostled by, I believe, Jagr's stick afterwards. See that?
Yep.
That could just even knock your vision off a little bit. Didn't get Andy's vision off that puck for 1 second. So cool, calm, under fire. And there's the totals, both teams to this point.
Lined up in the neutral zone. McCourtson gets through, snaps it to the net. Save, rebound there, fired over top of the goal. Good opportunity there for the Canadiens. It was Stevenson that had the opportunity. He continues to battle. Stevenson coming close there, and now Jagr up the left side. Ulanov trying to stay on him. Jagr puts on the brakes. Now looks over his shoulder, sees coming late. Jagr still has it. Tries to go back to the line with it. It was blocked by Stevenson. Jagr to the net, and Moog steers it aside. Wawrinka coming in from the neutral zone to hold it in. Now Jagr took the hit there from Ulanov, but protecting the puck. Francis there to help out for the Penguins. Francis sends it deep. There is Barnes. Here is Jagr with it. Jagr tries to center, did not get it through. Now Ulanov for the Canadiens, able to clear it off the glass. And it is held in. Here is Stu Barnes teeing it up. Barnes waits, and the whistle had blown. The puck was played with a high stick.
Pittsburgh's upset. Ronnie Francis, a quick word with Rob Schick. He said no, it was knocked down with a hand. But Rob Schick gets the last call, and he made it signaling a high stick.
Danfus waiting for something to open up here. Carries into the Pittsburgh zone. Top of the circle, waits. Now sends it back to the line. Here's Popovich with a drive just wide of Barrasso. Picked up by Danfus. He works it back along the boards in deep. Brzezinski will chase it down. Penguins behind their own net. Able to come up with it. Here's Marenka. Morozov able to just backhand it through the neutral zone. Penguins changing up now is Brisebois. Plays at center ice, intercepted by Hicks. Hicks carries into the zone, drops it back for Pronger. Pronger the drive, both the save. Pronger had Kasparaitis coming up the middle of the zone. Didn't realize it. Back come the Canadiens. Here is Parson with it. Parson puts it out in front as Brisebois was tied up. Good defensive work there by Pronger, number 12, but the puck stays in the Pittsburgh zone.
Both teams really checking hard. Anywhere around their nets, deep inside the zone, you have to check hard, finish it off, and both teams are doing a real nice job of that.
Here is Manson with it now for the Canadiens. Lifts it back into the Pittsburgh zone. Marenka back to get it first for Pittsburgh. Minute and a half left here in the first overtime. Now it comes to Rob Brown. Ulanov steps up on him. It's recovered by Malakoff. Malakoff for the Canadiens. A long lead pass. Here's Brunet, top of the circle. Drives it, and he scores! Benoit Brunet in overtime with just a minute 17 on the clock. And the Canadiens lead the series 1-0.